In the mid-19th century, one of the most daring and tragic expeditions of the age took place in the Arctic, an area so inhospitable and mysterious that it captivated the imaginations of explorers, scientists, and the public alike. The story of the ill-fated Franklin expedition is one of intrigue, human endurance, and a quest for glory that turned into one of the greatest mysteries of the age. The mission. In 1845, Sir John Franklin, a veteran British naval officer, was given command of an expedition to find the Northwest Passage, a sea route through the Arctic archipelago of Canada that would connect the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Such a passage would greatly shorten trade routes and give Britain a strategic advantage in global commerce. The Franklin expedition set off with two ships, HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, both heavily equipped with the latest technology, including steam engines and specially designed hulls to resist ice. The ships were stocked with provisions for up to 3 years, canned food, alcohol, and other supplies meant to sustain the men in the harshest conditions. Franklin was accompanied by 128 men, including skilled officers, sailors, and even a number of scientists. The fleet departed from England in May 1845, but as the months passed, no word was heard from them. The expedition was supposed to be a triumph of British exploration. Instead, it became a symbol of tragedy and mystery. The disappearance. The British Admiralty had hoped the expedition would return by 1847, but by the end of that year, no word had come. Concerned, the British government sent out search parties. In 1848, the first search expedition, led by Sir James Ross, ventured into the Arctic to find Franklin. Over the next several years, several more search missions were launched, each time coming up with little or no new information about the fate of the expedition. In 1850, some explorers found the first signs that the Franklin expedition had not simply disappeared, but had met a tragic end. One of the most telling discoveries was made when a rescue party, led by Captain Francis McClintock, found a message left in a cairn, a pile of rocks, on King William Island in 1859. The message, written in 1847, revealed that Franklin had died that year, and the remaining men had been forced to abandon their ships and attempt to trek southward in search of safety. They had been trapped in the ice for 2 winters, facing starvation, disease, and freezing conditions. The horror of starvation and cannibalism. As the years dragged on, the men of the Franklin expedition faced unimaginable hardships. The ships Erebus and Terror had become trapped in the ice, unable to move. The men's provisions dwindled, and the Arctic winter took its toll. The expedition's leader, Sir John Franklin, died in 1847, but the men continued to struggle for survival. By 1848, the survivors made the desperate decision to abandon their ships and attempt to march southward, hoping to reach a supply depot at the mouth of the Back River. They never made it. In 1850, some of the bodies of the men were found on King William Island. The skeletal remains showed signs of cannibalism, an indication of the extreme measures the men had taken to survive. Fragments of human bones and evidence of makeshift camps were discovered along the route, suggesting the men had resorted to eating their fallen comrades to stay alive. The discovery of these grim remains and the chilling evidence of cannibalism added to the growing mystery. How had such a well-equipped, well-prepared expedition come to such a grim fate? And where had the other men gone? The final revelations. It wasn't until the early 20th century that the full extent of the tragedy came to light. The wreckage of HMS Erebus and HMS Terror were discovered in the 21st century, centuries after the expedition had first gone missing. The Erebus was found in 2014, and the Terror in 2016, preserved remarkably well under the frigid waters of the Arctic. These discoveries shed new light on what had happened during the expedition, though many questions remain. The expedition's fate has been the subject of much speculation. Some theories suggest that the men may have fallen victim to lead poisoning from the canned food they ate, which was improperly sealed. Others have suggested that the ships might have been trapped by shifting ice floes and were simply unable to escape, with no hope of rescue. There were also theories that the men were not entirely ill-prepared, but that a combination of bad luck and bad weather sealed their fate. The Franklin expedition remains one of the most famous and tragic episodes in the history of exploration. It reflects both the nobility of human ambition and the harshness of nature. The story of the men who perished in the Arctic, struggling not only against the ice but against time and hunger, continues to fascinate and haunt us.